Hey, Sam,
Yeah, Don?
what's the word?
Social.
Social?
Yeah, I started out as a social drinker. Then I had my second drink.
Where do you hear that?
I heard it through the grapevine.
Welcome. It's the AA Grapevine half-hour variety hour featuring the collected voices of Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm Don, an alcoholic in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Don, you're not in Greensboro. You're from Greensboro. You're in Vancouver.
That's okay. In Vancouver.
Where?
Live, British Columbia.
Hey, folks, I'm Sam, an alcoholic from Palm Springs, California. And we're doing this live.
Palm Springs got a big fanfare.
Got a fanfare, yeah. I am Olis, and I'm an alcoholic that lives in Oakland, California. Okay, folks, here's the thing. We're here recording live at the International Convention in Vancouver. We've never done a live recording before.
Quite an experience.
For people who are not with us right now, I just want to say that Vancouver is one of the most beautiful places on the planet. It's nestled between the mountains in the Pacific Ocean. It's lush, the water's blue, and Vancouver is incredible. I'm so excited to be here.
It's pretty fantastic, and it's a lot cooler than Palm Springs, California.
It is. And the other thing about this experience, we are the largest convention that Vancouver has ever hosted. And you guys are beautiful.
And you know how Alcoholics Anonymous, they love Alcoholics Anonymous conventions wherever we show up because we behave ourselves. We are what other conventions are going to be compared to in Vancouver.
But I don't know. I was looking at the crowd going, well, this is the most erratic bunch of people I've ever milling around. I mean, did you see how some of us are dressed?
Why are you looking at me? It's a kilt, Don. It's not a skirt, but it does have pockets.
It's a strange thing. I mean, it's a little overwhelming, I got to say. I don't know. We're going to find out probably from Bob what the latest numbers are of how many people are actually here. But I've never seen so many people.
Well, this is your first one, isn't it?
It's my very first international convention. It's wild.
Yeah.
I've heard about it. I've heard about them for as long as I've been sober, but I didn't know, it's like there are 2 giant rooms filled with booze. Booths.
Boozers.
Get your mind in the proper place. All those interesting booths.
You are just twisted, man. Twisted. This is my second international convention. I was in Atlanta and had a blast there, was ready for Detroit, but, we had a bit of a detour. And here we are in Vancouver, and wow, it is so cool, the little random things that happen. The people that I saw someone that I haven't seen in 12, 13 years and was just wandering along the pier and ran into him. It's amazing, the friends that we see again, the reunions that happen, and the new friendships that develop. To get to just talk to people when you're standing at the corner waiting for the walk sign. I mean, we don't get to do this when it's not an Alcoholics Anonymous. Well, some of you might actually talk to strangers, but I don't.
I mean, the thing that is really most striking to me is, which we don't talk a lot about, how much work went into this. Can you imagine throwing this kind of party? Like, I just want to give it up for all of the people on the team. The flag ceremony last night.
Yeah.
actually the line to get in for the flagship. I had a bowl on the line. I mean, just the camaraderie, the love, the sharing, it's a beautiful thing. And for people who have not had the opportunity to do this, not only congratulations and appreciation to the team that pulled it off, but for all of us that made it. Like, find a new friend, get phone numbers, share meetings. Like, let's just make the most of this.
I think my most exciting moment was talking to people in the plaza at the live music was playing. And were you there? It's a stone floor, but the floor was bouncing up and down. And I'm like going, this is terrifying. And I was talking with a young lady who was dancing and having a time, and I said, are you worried about this? And she said, if it goes in, I'm riding it all the way down.
Wait, that sounds like a lot of our bottoms.
You are an alcoholic, aren't you? But Sam, you know what is the most special thing about today's episode?
Well, we're celebrating 90 years of AA.
In Vancouver.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woohoo!
But not only that, this is our 200th recorded episode of the AA Grapevine. Release the Chaos Monkeys!
Are they still going? Those monkeys are loose. Y'all catch a monkey, take them home, perfect souvenir.
We'd like to get rid of those chaos monkeys.
They do multiply.
They invade.
Thank you all for keeping this audio oddity going by listening and subscribing to The Grapevine. The Grapevine half-hour variety hour is usually around 30 minutes long, but today we're going to use the whole hour. Our guests today are David S., the AA Grapevine chair.
Bob, the General Service Office Manager.
And we're going to get to know a member of Alcoholics Anonymous chosen. We had no idea who it was going to be. Someone chosen that we've met here today, this weekend.
And we're going to close with a hilarious, side-splitting, drink-spitting, wits-end joke. But first, before we even get to the news,
because we're live.
Before we even do that, we're going to give you an opportunity that's never been had before, which is you get to ask us Stump the Podcaster questions.
I'm sure y'all have talked to us while we were talking to you. Now we can hear you. But first,
the news.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nathan, and I'm an alcoholic.
hi, Nathan!
I'm also the host of Our Primary Purpose, the official podcast of the General Service Office of Alcoholics Anonymous. Nice. There's some of us that are familiar. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you aren't familiar, Our Primary Purpose is a podcast produced by the General Service Office on behalf of the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous in the U.S. and Canada. We explore the organization of AA and its fellowship. We discuss service, we meet fellows, and we discuss and explore how the General Service Office carries the message of AA to the still suffering alcoholic. We can be found anywhere that podcasts can be found, so if you aren't already subscribing, please do. You can also find us on YouTube as well as our website, aa.org. So subscribe now so that you can catch up on Season 1 and catch Season 2 when it drops real soon. That's what we're doing here in beautiful Vancouver, BC, where we have been welcomed with such warmth and enthusiasm. We are so grateful. We're getting content here, and we're getting ready for Season 2, which will drop real soon. Dawn, Sam, Olis, thank you all so much. Thank you, everyone, and have a great time.
Thank you, Nathan. He's a lot more handsome than I thought he was going to be from his voice.
Does Don look like his voice?
Come on, y'all. Let's have a little bit of love for the Southern gentleman.
Actually, I'm stunned. I don't know. You know, one of the things that is most exciting about this opportunity to be here is the opportunity to actually interview new people. Even though I have recently joined, it's been about a year and a half ago, I don't know everybody. And Sam and Don have been here longer, they know more people, and so I'm really, really excited to meet David and to talk to David and to share with everybody what it is that David does and how David got here. And so I'm excited about that. Did I miss something? You're looking at me like I missed something.
Come on,
Come on, David. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Delighted to be here with everybody here in beautiful Vancouver with so many awesome folks.
Would you, and I don't know that I'm supposed to do this, but here we go. Would you introduce yourself as you would at an out-of-town meeting?
Sure. Hi, my name's David. I'm an alcoholic. Thank you. My sobriety date is August 8th, 1992. And I have a new home group called Rusted Servants.
Yes.
And given I'm getting more and more rusted every year, it seemed like the right place for me. And we're a virtual group in Northeast New York.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Would you tell people what your bottom of the triangle role is?
So I am a general service trustee. Oh, yeah. So impressive. Yeah, that's me. I'm a general service trustee. There are a few of us. I serve on the General Service Board, right, which you might expect, and serve on a variety of trustee committees. But this year, and I've served on the Grapevine Board for a number of years. First as a non-trustee director, and now as a general service trustee. And this year, I'm privileged to serve as the chair of the Grapevine Board.
Woo! Thank you to your service to Grapevine, and thank you to your service to Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, when people hear this, it's going to sound like some far-fetched, far-off thing that they could never achieve. Could you just briefly talk about your journey to the bottom of the triangle?
Well, I think like a lot of folks in general service, my first step was to serve as a GSR for my home group.
Yeah.
And I went to a area assembly as part of my service, and I met somebody who is a dear friend who was here this weekend, Sherry P. And she's kind of nudged me along my service journey more as a friend than as a service sponsor. But I started as a GSR. I did a number of things for the area. And then I heard a couple of actually general service trustees speak about an opening for a non-trustee director on the Grapevine Board. And I come out of the media and publishing business, run some magazines, help Martha Stewart launch and build her business. And I listened to what they said and I thought, oh, maybe I could do that. Maybe I could help them. And they thought I might be able to help them, so they brought me on, originally, as I said, as a non-trustee director, and now I serve as a general service trustee.
Yeah, thank you. And for everyone that hears that, I want you to know, as my friend Drew says, whatever skill you have, you can use in Alcoholics Anonymous. We need you. So 2 final things I'd love for you to share with us. There's a really significant presence here at the convention for both Grapevine and Lavinia. And would you share with people what those look like? If people were here, what would they see?
Well, first of all, you would see a lavender t-shirt. That's the first thing you would see.
Coveted item.
I'm not wearing mine right now, but it is in my backpack, and I can model it for you later. But
We want to see. We want to see.
yeah. We've got a great big group of wonderful volunteers from actually not only the US and Canada, but the UK, Guatemala, a number of countries helping us out. And we're trying, thank you to those volunteers. And we've been spreading the word about our wonderful Grapevine and Lavinia magazines, but also things like the podcast we talk about, and also our apps, and encouraging people to give it a try, sign up for it. Maybe buy a Grapevine or Lavinia book or a souvenir book while you're here. And everybody here in this room, download the Grapevine or Lavinia app, give it a free try, subscribe. It's great, and it's getting better all the time. So that's what we're here. That's what we're here to do. Share the love.
It's only 10 cents a day for AA.
10 cents a day for AA. Yeah. The final thing I want to ask you to talk about is there are people here who are Grapevine reps, or there are people here who are just members, and they don't really understand the value that it brings. And so if you would take a moment and talk about like the vision that we have for the growth of our subscription base and how people can get involved and how people can help us on that journey, we would love to hear that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that question. So our Grapevine and Lavinia reps really are our link from the Grapevine and Lavinia to the fellowship as a whole. Is anybody here in this room a Grapevine or Lavinia rep or an area chair? Woo-hoo! Thank you. And you're really are messengers, if you will, about the lovely content we have submitted from people in the fellowship, just like you, to share the message of Grapevine and Lavinia in your groups, in your areas. And people use Grapevine and Lavinia in so many ways. A number of people will buy a subscription for their group as a whole and share it. Others might use it for their treatment work or their work in prisons and other institutions. It's a great personal recovery device, and I know some groups give a subscription to newcomers as a way for them to hear the message. And for a lot of us, it's really easy to find ourselves in the contemporary stories that we find in Grapevine and Lavinia. And it can be maybe a more accessible way into the program than something like the Big Book. Though thankfully now we have the plain language Big Book, which I'm a big fan of as well.
Yes. I want to thank you for making time for us today. I know that you have a lot of people pulling at you, and thank you for making time for us this morning.
Well, thank you, and I love the podcast. I'm a farmer. We raise chickens for eggs and pigs. I listen to the podcast while I'm egg washing, so
That's the first.
there are a lot of opportunities out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Oh, that's fantastic. And now we're going to welcome Bob, the General Service Office Manager.
Woo! Woo! Bob!
Hi, Bob. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Glad to be here.
So, would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Bob. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Bob.
I'm the general manager of the General Service Office in New York City, and very grateful to be here with all of you. My sobriety date is March 30th, 1993, and I just happen to have my handy-dandy Grapevine app right here. So I've been sober for 32 years, 3 months, and 6 days.
Woohoo! Bob, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being part of what's making all of this happen here. Yes. You know, can you tell us a little bit about the International Convention and its place in AA history?
It's a privilege to be a part of this, and this has been a rich history of Alcoholics Anonymous for a number of years, and really since 1985, and there were several before that, but that was our 50th anniversary as a fellowship. And the numbers the attendees that attended this convention just really jumped up from that point, and we've held that since that particular point in time. And it's just an amazing time for all of us around the world to come together, to share with all of each other. We saw the flag ceremony last night with all those countries coming from around the world, and seeing how we're connected. And you just get that true language of the heart, which is amazing. And no matter if we're separated by oceans, cultures, distances, it doesn't matter. We all share the same common bond, that suffering from alcoholism. And this is just a beautiful way to do that with joy. We're not a glum lot, and you can see that here this week.
Absolutely. It's been an amazing time. I don't think anyone in here is frowning. No frowns. Good. Yay.
Right.
Success.
No Eeyores here. Right.
Well, what is so special about this year's convention?
Well, I think a couple of things. So much enthusiasm, excitement to come into Detroit in 2020, and then, as we all know, the global pandemic hit, and we had to cancel just prior to that. And so it's been 10 years since we've come together. And I think that's a really big part of why this makes this so special, coming back together after such a difficult experience for really all of us around the world. And I think another piece that's so special is just being in such a beautiful place like Vancouver. I've heard it here shared this morning and throughout all my time here. What a beautiful place to have a convention. You know, no knock to any other venue where we've had conventions in the past, but to look out and see the mountains and the water, and just a gorgeous place to be. And so it just makes it extra special.
It's really special. It's my first time to Vancouver, and wow, I'm ready to move.
Yeah.
Sorry, Palm Springs.
Yes.
So, is there a moment that comes to mind just in the days that you've been here for this convention, or maybe in ramping up and preparing for the convention, that's just really touched your heart?
I think there are many. I call them gold nugget moments, or God incidences instead of coincidences. There's no such thing as coincidences. And, you know, I've had mine early on here where, 30-some thousand people, and what are the chances you run into somebody that is from your local area that you haven't seen even still there for a number of years, and around all these people, and it's like, hey! And they're like, hey! And I had that, and actually my wife was getting something out of a local store, and I said, I'll sit here and wait for you, and then those folks were walking right across from me. And I said, Anne, Lenore, and they turned around, Bob, and then somebody heard them say, Bob, and someone came over from over there and said, hey, Bob, and the next thing you know, we had 9 people around us, and that was just super extra special. And leading up to this point, I think this is my 7th visit to Vancouver as far as the planning process. I'm involved in that. And one thing that's been extra special about that is working with all of the local vendors, the managers of hotels, Destination Vancouver, a lot of folks who are not members of Alcoholics Anonymous. And to see their connection with us in explaining why we're here has also been extra special.
It sounds like a pretty amazing experience to get to be part of the back end of making this happen. Do you get to enjoy some of it too?
Absolutely. It's an interesting thing about being general manager of GSO. When I was first hired, I felt a little guilty about getting paid. But then the work started coming, and about 2 weeks later, I didn't feel guilty anymore. But there still are those moments where having conversations with fellow staff members and hearing these experiences of folks who are going to get to carry the flag for their country, and the gratitude coming from that interaction that we have with them. And that's just so incredibly heartwarming, and just such a blessing to be able to be part of that experience, and to help them to make it here, for them to feel comfortable, and for everyone to feel comfortable here. So it's just been a beautiful experience, really.
I get it. You know, there is language of the heart happening everywhere we turn, right?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, indeed.
The week leading up to this convention at GSO, and Fridays are a big day for us for visitors around the world. In the last few weeks, there have been people making pilgrimages across the ponds and the water, and coming from Germany and Great Britain and Sweden, and coming to our office and attending the meeting. We had a speaker from Australia last Friday, I think it was, and they stopped at GSO, and they'll be off to Stepping Stones, and then they were heading to Dr. Bob's, and then making their way up here. And it's just amazing to celebrate that sobriety and seeing them do that, and the zeal that they have, and the love for Alcoholics Anonymous.
Absolutely is amazing. I've got one last question for you, and it's off the cuff, but do you have an idea of how many people have shown up?
I do.
Drum roll.
Would I get in trouble? I was going to say, would I get in trouble for saying this? I don't really care. So, so anyway, this is a guess, but my sense is as of last Friday, we were coming in at about 32,000 pre-registrations, and best of my estimation, we've probably registered on site since we've been here, maybe another 1,700 folks or so. So we're a little over the 33,000 mark, I would guess, at this point. So yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bob, thank you so much for sitting down with us. We
Great.
really appreciate it.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Give it up. All right, now we're going to choose a random guest selected previously. From the audience, come on down.
Hi, family. Hi, everybody.
Everybody welcome Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi. Thanks so much.
Jennifer, introduce yourself as you would at an out-of-town meeting.
Sure will. Hi, my name is Jennifer. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is September 24th, 2002. My home group is the Morning Star Women's Meeting in Frenchtown, New Jersey. And I have a sponsor who has a sponsor, and her name is Patty. That's me.
Wonderful. So can you tell me about your the moment when you first surrendered to the idea that you were an alcoholic and needed help? Can you feel that and share some of that with us?
I definitely can. I was in my late 30s. I had 5 children of all different ages, lots of little babies, and I had been coming through the back door of Al-Anon because I grew up, let me back up. I grew up as the oldest child of an alcoholic. I had six brothers and sisters altogether. And at that time in my life, I knew the wheels were falling off the bus, but I didn't connect my drinking to the issue that I was dealing with. And I thought for sure I was going to end up in some kind of a mental facility. And started calling my mom. What do I do? And after the zillionth time of her listening to me, she says, why don't you go to Al-Anon? It's free. We had a bunch of kids. I didn't have money for anything other than that. So I showed up at Al-Anon. In the beginning, it was kind of working. I thought, well, great. I get the 12 steps and wine. Kind of was working great. And I'm just going to tell the story because it's mine, you know, and we all have our own story, and sometimes we identify out, or, you know, we compare out or compare in. So my husband got me a spa day, and I had a young woman tell me, well, do you realize you have rosacea? And I'm like, already in my mind with the Jimmy Durante nose with the veins and the whole 9 yard. So I rush home to my prescription for healing, because I was always trying to heal myself of whatever this craziness that was wrong with me. That drinking was the only thing that helped. And no alcohol, no caffeine, no spicy food, no problem till 4:59. The next day, and the next day, and the next day. So to convince myself I wasn't an alcoholic, because I was out of options, I was out of answers, I showed up at a local AA meeting, and there was a bunch of old guys down in the basement of a place, and there was coffee, and I was about to leave. But there was also Entenmann's cheesecake. So don't ever discount the salvific snack effect. And I sat down and I heard my mind, and I knew I was home. And it took me 5 years, though, before really, really convincing myself. And I finally went through the big book with a sponsor, because I really couldn't do the next step. Because the most beautiful thing is to be able to serve in Alcoholics Anonymous. And someone had asked me to be a sponsor, and I secretly thought, well, I know I shouldn't drink, but maybe I'm not really an alcoholic. Because people would say every time they picked up, they couldn't stop, and that wasn't my experience. So I was taken through the big book, and on page 44 it says, if when you start drinking you find you cannot stop, or once you start, you just go on to the end. I thought that word was and. So that silly little word, or, I knew when I wanted to stop drinking and I needed to stop drinking that I couldn't. And it didn't matter what my drinking looked like as compared to anybody else. And it gave me a home in AA. And then I was able to be truly at home here, 100% in my heart, mind, soul, strength. And now I get to be here with you all, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I had the same problem with that real alcoholic where it talks about in the big book, and every time I would hear that, I was like, well, maybe I'm not a real alcoholic. It's, you know, my drinking didn't take me to the place where I lost everything either. So that kind of surrender is the hard place to get to. What about hearing the steps, working the steps? Was there one of the steps where you just did not want to do that, and then once you did it, you saw the effect?
I guess everybody says the fourth step, you know, and I think I did really struggle.
The inventory.
The inventory, writing inventory. So fourth step, yes, because a lot of writing about what other people did. You know, I loved it. Resentment inventory, page after page after page. And so then sharing myself. I think the fifth step, really sharing myself with another person, you know. You don't want to be sharing all that stuff. And once I did, I got fortunate to have a sponsor that was saying things like, oh yeah, I did that. Oh yeah, me too. You know, and the feeling so different and feeling like you were just the worst person on the planet started kind of developing, and I got to feel so much more shoulder to shoulder rather than alcoholism. You're either all the way up here or you're down behind the bottom of your shoe, you know, and it was the beginning of feeling a little bit as other person, just another person.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us on the, I always said the boiled owl.
What is wrong with you, Don?
On the AA Grapevine half-hour variety hour.
Thank you for having me. I love you
Hooray,
guys.
thank you.
Love you guys.
I think this is the part where we get in trouble.
I don't know about you, but, you know, we can probably get Don in trouble.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So now we pause for a word from our benevolent overlord and your favorite Grapevine publisher. Everybody give it up for Chris. Woo! Hey, Chris, I added that benevolent part. Don didn't put that in there.
All right. I know who my favorite employee is. Thank you, Sam, Olis, and Don. Back at the office, they don't know this, but we call it the Sodcast because we got Sam, Olis, and Don.
Sodcast. Oh, that's perfect.
And I'm in the middle.
Just add water and you get mud.
So am I supposed to improvise here, or do you got some questions for me?
Well, so, this is one of those things. First of all, who are you?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm an alcoholic.
Chris.
And I serve as the publisher of the AA Grapevine. Over the past few years, we went from being a magazine and book publisher to being a magazine, book, podcast, YouTube, Instagram, and app publisher.
Yes. Under his leadership.
Well, I'm very grateful to be a part of it. They brought me in at a good time, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. And one of the best things is really, we started this podcast all the way back in 2021, and as they said earlier, this is our 200th episode that we're recording right now. It's amazing that we've done that.
Yeah, it really is. You like us. You really like us.
As long as I don't want any hardball questions. Remember, I'm the one that pays the bills here.
Hence, overlord.
So then I'm going to pitch it to
I've got a question real quick. Could you please share about someone that you made amends to, like the hardest amends, and just describe why, when, and...
Or if you don't want to do that, could you just share your inventory with us?
Maybe we should give it to Olis.
Well, there's two amends that I made that were very difficult. The first one, I'm married to Gail now almost 35 years, and we have a wonderful relationship. There she is, right over there.
Hi, Gail.
But before her, there was the other one, and
The other one.
And the other one, my lawyer put in an agreement into the divorce settlement that we would not contact one another. So I had some amends to make to her, obviously, but I wanted to observe the settlement because her father was very rich and I could not afford the lawyers that she could afford. So my sponsor said, "Are you willing to make the amends should the opportunity come?" And I said, "Yes, I'm willing to make the amends." So there was a high school reunion. I went, she went. I came out of the bathroom. She was standing there, and she said, "Chris, do you have a minute?" And I said, "Sure." And she said, "I need to make amends to you."
Oh, wow.
So I got to make my amends.
Yeah.
The other difficult one was my father. I'll make amends to him when he make amends to me.
That's right.
That son of a... And, but, you know, the great thing about the steps, that's what I felt in the very beginning. But the great thing about the steps is that we grow spiritually and we see step by step how these steps are improving our lives. And it's really about taking care of ourselves. And the steps are there to help us to grow spiritually. So when I got through 4 and 5, 6 and 7, I could automatically realize that, hey, I'm getting better here, you know, like the cravings are gone and my life is getting better and it's more enjoyable and I'm easier to be around. So maybe this 9 thing isn't so bad, you know. And so finally I did make amends to my father. He had asked me to take him to the doctors. And he said he was going to the urologist. And I took him and I made amends on the way to the doctors. And we got there, and I was like, this is a cancer doctor. This is not a urologist. And I learned that day that my father had cancer, and he died about 4 months later. So I feel grateful. I was probably about 4 years sober when I finally made amends to him. But I got to do it before he passed away, so I was very grateful for that.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank
Beautiful.
you, Chris.
Yeah.
That's the language of the heart that is the grapevine, and that's the language of the heart's the theme of the whole convention.
That's it.
Yep. You know, the thing that I love about that, Chris, and I want to appreciate you for, is sharing something so personal. Because I think when you're a leader and you're leading something, people see the title, and it's hard sometimes to see the person, right?
Right.
And you've got a big job and a hard job. And so, given that this is the first time that we're doing it live, it's totally not rehearsed, you don't know what I'm going to ask. I really would love for you to share something with people that you want them to know about the work that you do, why you do it, and about what they should know about the Grapevine.
Yeah. So the Grapevine, all of our content is generated by you. All of our articles come from members. All of our podcast guests are members. The hosts are members as well. The YouTube channel is full of stories from people who call in and leave their stories on our phone line. It's really, our job really is to collect the stories of alcoholics who are recovering from alcoholism so that we can share them with other alcoholics who could benefit from that story, from that experience, that strength, that hope. And the toughest part of my job is really getting out the word about Grapevine and how beneficial it is to individual members, and also as a 12-step tool, to bring into the prisons, to bring to treatment facilities, that sort of thing. To share it with newcomers. I've heard many, many stories this week about people who found a Grapevine in a prison or found or given a Grapevine at their first meeting, and they weren't ready to relate to the big book, but they could relate to the stories in Grapevine. But there's so many people. Also, I'm standing there giving out Grapevines at an international convention. People here are long time, mostly have been in AA for a while at least, and they're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean, what's that?" No. So I really need, as much as possible, we need to really spread the word about the Grapevine, and not about the Grapevine itself, but the benefit of the Grapevine and how it helps so many people. We have some financial difficulties. It's no secret. We want to continue to give subscriptions to inmates. We want to continue to bring the subscriptions into the treatment facilities. We want to continue to have American Sign Language videos on our YouTube channel. We want to continue to provide all these services, but we really rely on the members to subscribe. It's $2.99 a month. It's
10 cents a day for AA.
10 cents a day for AA, right? And the other thing is that when Grapevine is solvent, the General Service Board can use those funds that they might be sending to us to help other alcoholics in other ways.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Chris, thank you. We really appreciate you coming up here and hanging out with us. And we are going to move on to the next thing because, this is a brand
No, I want to stay on.
That's it. Because you're the overlord.
So wait a minute, Chris, here's the thing. We're about to get questions from the audience. Do you really want to sit in that hot seat? Okay.
Stay with us then.
Yay!
Thanks, Chris.
Yay! So this is a brand new experience for us, and we've never done an in-person show. So, especially in front of a crowd. I mean, live recordings? Are you crazy? All we need is like animals and children, and we're like totally messing with the craziest thing. Alcoholics, animals, and children, right? But now we want to hear from you, our live audience. And we want to hear your questions. We want to hear your comments. We've got some folks lined up at the mics already. There's going to be a volunteer at the mic who's going to be showing you a timer to give you a countdown, or a count up. So please don't go past 3 minutes, but we want to hear what you've got to say and ask.
My name's Kyle. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Kyle.
I'll follow the format. My sobriety date is January 31st, 2016. And my home group is the Doctor's Opinion. It's a men's meeting in Manchester, New Hampshire. And we read the Doctor's Opinion on the first Thursday of every month. And we read the 164 the other weeks of the month. And I have a fun question. Before I do that, I'm going to embarrass my wife because it's her birthday today. Right over there. So happy birthday, Mallory. And just a fun question. You're walking down the street in Vancouver and a normie says to you, "What's this convention and all these people here?" What do you say?
Ooh.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
Chris has an answer.
Happened to me last night.
Happened to me last night.
And I said, it's the International Convention of Alcoholics Anonymous. We're a bunch of drunks that don't drink.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Yes. What did you say, Olis?
I said that we found a spiritual path to joy and happiness.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
I really appreciate you embarrassing your wife. I want to embarrass my wife. While I'm here, if I could just take a moment. Yesterday was our 39th wedding anniversary.
Woo!
Marilyn, where are you?
She's hiding from you.
She's hiding
Don.
in the back. She's not an alcoholic. She doesn't have a drinking problem, but she does have a problem the way that she drinks, if you ask me. She never finishes anything that has alcohol.
That's just not normal drinking.
Let's go to this mic.
Thank you. My name is Doug, and I'm a grateful member of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Hi, Doug.
I am from Southern California, Area 5, and from the city of Downey, California.
Downey!
And the Spanish-speaking community is they're very passionate about the Lavinia magazine and all the Lavinia resources that are available. And many of them are concerned and have expressed concern in the past due to some of our financial issues with the magazine and our publishing, whether the Lavinia will be continued to be published and our dedication to that magazine and those resources.
I'm so glad Chris is here.
Exactly. Chris, would you take that one, please?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I'm relieved to have a good answer. So during the pandemic, the subscriptions for Lavinia went from 10,000 almost down to 5,000, almost cut in half. And in May of this year, our subscriptions for Lavinia have bounced back over 8,000. So we are heading back to where we were, and that's our goal, to get back to the 10,000. It's important for folks to realize that Lavinia is a service to the fellowship. It is not a money-making nor break-even proposition. It is funded by the General Service Board. My job as the publisher of Lavinia is to try to keep the cost as low as possible for the General Service Board. And with more subscriptions coming in, we're going to be able to have much lower. Our budget, the cost to the General Service Board 2 years ago was over $700,000. This past year, it was about 500,000, and our goal over the next 5 years is to bring it down under 400,000, back toward where it was when we were selling about 10,000 subscriptions per year.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks so much. Over here.
Hi, I'm a Hunter alcoholic out of Area 64, and I'm serving as a district rep. Serving as a district rep for Grapevine, and I was kind of stumped. And the question is, what are we referring to everything other than the print form? So it's a meeting in print, but YouTube and all of that, a meeting in what? You can tell me.
Well, so we're no longer just the meeting in print, but we are still the international journal of Alcoholics Anonymous in so many different media formats now. Does that work?
Yeah, I didn't quite hear the question. What was the...
So because of all of the ways that we're doing things, we're no longer just a meeting in print. What are we?
No, but that is a slogan. I don't think we want to give that up. The print magazine is the base of everything we do, though, you know. The episode of the podcast that's going to publish on Monday is based on the print magazine for July, right? So the magazine is our flagship and will continue to be our flagship. Everything else grows out of it. Yeah.
It's our meeting in print. I didn't realize it for the longest time. It is a meeting. It opens with the preamble and closes with the Serenity Prayer.
That's right. And it's even got the shades.
Yeah. It's got the shades up against always very unusual backdrops. They hang those shades in the strangest places.
My name is Haley. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Haley.
Hi, Kate.
My home group's the Happy Destiny group in Fort Collins, Colorado, area 10. So I learned from the podcast Stump the Thumper section that when Bill is talking about his impeccable coat of tan,
Yes.
it is in fact a tan coat, not a tan from the sun. However, in the plain language translation, he talks about his skin getting darker from the sun. Which is it?
Don, you caused this controversy, Don.
Don's going to clean
You know,
it
we
up
do
right
have
now.
a podcast episode type called Controversy. No, we actually were going to have that. Now it's called Hot Topic.
What are they referring to with the impeccable coat of tan? Is it Bill's tan that he received from playing golf?
Yes.
Or is it a cashmere coat that was incredibly popular, as I've heard, that was everyone wanted it, anyone of wealth. So that was the argument. I have found out I'm wrong. It was
so hard, was
coat
it?
of tan.
That wasn't so hard to say.
It was so hard.
It was the tan on Bill's skin, Don. I told you this a long time ago.
That, you know what? We're almost out of time. One more question.
One more. All right. Over here, please.
Jeremy J., recovered alcoholic, area 29, Baltimore, Maryland. If you haven't got a pen yet, I have plenty of pens. I don't want to take them back to Baltimore, so hit me up after there. First off, thank Grapevine for making me a published author, and let me get my ego out of the way there. Two times over. I didn't really have a question. It was more of a comment that a couple months ago, because of the app and the app being able to read the stories, I hooked the Bluetooth up to the radio in my meeting, and we play a story where we turn off the lights and go by candlelight, and we listen to a story and then go around the room and share. But since it's the last question, what's your favorite piece of swag that you got from the convention so far?
Favorite piece of swag?
Favorite piece of swag?
I got a pickle because I'm never going to be a cucumber again.
I got a button from San Francisco. She gave me many choices, and then she said, no, you need this tie-dyed one because I think you probably were involved in some illicit activity at some point. You know me so well.
Well, you know, I'm not going to say what my favorite piece is. I'm instead going to make sure that you know that we've got some podcast chips in our pockets. And for those who didn't get a turn at the mic, we'll be just outside right after the session closes. So stop by and see us. Come get a chip.
Thank you, everyone. I wish we could have gotten to all the questions. Okay, folks, it's time to wrap up the show as we always do with a hilarious dad joke.
A drunk dad joke.
A drunk dad joke. I'm at the very
drinker finds a fly in her beer, says to the bartender, "Sir, can you please pour me a fresh drink?"
A heavy drinker finds a fly in his beer, delicately plucks it out by its wings, and continues drinking.
An alcoholic finds a fly in his beer and yells, "Spit it out! Spit it out, you greedy bastard!"
All together now,
It's really not that funny.
At all.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Happy 90 years!
How's that?
Good.
So much fun!
We did. Thank you.
Give it up for Don, Olis, and Sam, please, once again.